Most manifestation advice is built on a lie that leaves your system completely ungrounded and burnt out. People tell you to sit around and visualize all day, but engineering holding a massive internal voltage without grounding leaves your system full of internal friction. If you look at this blueprint right here, I'm going to show you exactly how your reality is manufactured through present work and future goals. When those two team up together, you get what we call physical reality. If you are a logical thinker, you're probably exhausted by the lies of standard manifestation culture, but you are also probably exhausted by the rigid limitations of the 3D world. On one side, you have people who look strictly at the physical 3D world, believing only in blind, exhausting physical grind. On the exact opposite side, you have people who try to sit there and visualize, hoping things will magically appear. Both sides are trapped in an open loop because they don't understand that manifestation is a calculated engineering process governed by the mass energy balance. Look at Einstein's famous equation E equals mc squared. This is a literal conversion manual for how reality is constructed. If we look at E is your unmanifested fluid energy, and then M represents solid, tangible physical mass, and C is the constant speed of light acting as the absolute conversion boundary. Mass is nothing more than pure energy that has been structurally arrested, localized, and condensed. The speed of light is the cosmic filter and dictates whether an asset remains an unformed wave or solidifies into a physical particle. If we look down below at the gradients, starting on the left side, we have E, representing your unmanifested energy, and on the far right, we have M, representing your target physical mass. The distance between your current energetic state and your future physical goal creates a measurable mathematical potential difference. If we look inside the track, that jagged line represents the raw ungrounded energy wave running through space-time. Underneath it sits the constant C anchored by the number 3, representing the approximate speed of light at 300,000 kilometers per second. When your mind is projecting out toward a distant future goal, but your physical body is anchored back at the beginning of the track, you stretch the system. The potential difference across the space-time axis generates a massive structural pressure. This is why you feel a heavy, burning drag when you want a reality that isn't physically here yet. If you do not know how to ground this field, the energy just oscillates wildly back and forth. It stays trapped as an ungrounded frequency and creating internal friction instead of actual physical structure. The number 9 represents pure unmanifested divine energy at the singularity, and the number 6 represents the physical carbon matrix of our material world. Look at the arrows between them. A 6 is just a 9 flipped completely upside down based on where you stand. They are completely interchangeable, looping into a broken symbol of infinity. The universe is a time symmetric because energy, mass, and time collapse everything all at once in a binary flash. These shapes prove that your current reality and your future potential are just opposite ends of the exact same light cone. Neutralizing charge. At the base, we have the battery. On the left wire, notice the jagged lines. This is not the standard electrical resistance. This represents raw kinetic energy flowing outward. On the right wire, notice the precise sequential streams of shapes, the triangles, squares, and circles, representing the incoming structure. When you turn a system on, the negative terminal launches raw energy forward down a line. It doesn't take turns with the positive side. They engage the circuit simultaneously. The positive terminal acts as an immediate pull, sending a rigid geometric blueprint backward down the wire for that energy to organize into. They travel from both ends of the loop to meet in the exact middle, right inside the light bulb. When the raw energy from the past and the structural targets from the future crash into each other inside the bulb, they neutralize the potential difference of the entire loop. That act of meeting at the 0 point is what collapses the field and forces the raw, invisible current to manifest as real, visible photons of light. If your mind is separated from the machine, the loop stays open, the charges can never meet, and the bulb stays dark. In 1948, Claude Shannon created the information theory. If you look at the two mirroring arrows between the energy waves on the left and the solid blue 3D grid cube on the right labeled structure, Shannon proved that information is a measurable physical quantity that reduces uncertainty, chaos, and entropy. In thermodynamics, raw energy left to its own devices will always spread out, dissolve, and decay into maximum disorder, a state called entropy. Energy sent forward from the past is completely blind and fluid, but the structure sent backward from the future acts as a low entropy filter. Look at the words written right below the cube. Information, in formation, in organized line. This is the literal breakdown, etymology of how reality manifests. Information is not text, data, or words. It's a state of energy going into formation. The moment your present work encounters your future blueprint, the raw wave is forced to line up and organize itself into the geometric grid of the cube. The information acts as a structural cage that traps the chaotic wave, dropping its velocity to zero and forcing it to freeze into a solid particle. This is where your past energy and your future structure collide to create solid mass in a 3D reality. To understand how this feels internally, look at the magnet diagram. It tracks your emotional state across two labels, motivation and anxiety on the top and voltage and pressure on the bottom. When you place two powerful magnets far apart on a table, they sit completely still. They don't pull each other across the room, but even though they aren't moving, the potential difference, the invisible magnetic pressure between them, is astronomical. This is the exact voltage of human consciousness. When your dream and your current reality are separated by a large distance, that invisible magnetic field is what you feel as heavy, agonizing pressure of motivation or the drag of anxiety. It feels like you are light years away from your target. But watch what happens as you fine-tune your actions and physically push the magnets closer together. The field intensity increases exponentially. The closer you get, the more invisible field begins to compress. When the negative pole of your actions and the positive pole of your future structure get close enough to hit the critical threshold of the present moment, the potential difference becomes so high it literally rips the air apart, turning the invisible space into a flash of physical plasma. The magnets snap together with unavoidable velocity, and the voltage drops to absolute zero because the field has officially grounded. Stop running down a wire, bring the poles together at the present neutral point, and turn your internal receiver on and let your reality light up right where you stand.